Hey guys, it's Christy and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about some makeup items that used to be my absolute favorites that have now been dethroned. So before we get into it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's get into it. I try out a lot of new makeup, but over time, as our tastes change and new products are released, sometimes things that were absolute favorites are not anymore. So I have a few products that used to be all-time favorites and they've been dethroned. So let's just hop right into it. The first one, we'll start with mascara. My old favorite used to be the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I cannot tell you how many times I have repurchased this mascara, and I still think it's a really good one, but it's been dethroned a few times. The L'Oreal Lash Paradise kind of took over, and then the Maybelline Falsies Lash Lift, which is still a favorite. The Rare Beauty, the Ilia, and I all like them so much more than this one. But most recently, the Thrive Cosmetics. This is my all-time favorite, mostly because it is a tubing formula, so it doesn't smudge or flake any of the things, and it's just so good. It makes my lashes look so long. It makes it always look like I have falsies. Absolutely love it. So this one has absolutely dethroned all other mascaras, so this is definitely my top favorite. Okay, next we'll talk about setting sprays. And I should mention that just because a product has been dethroned or is no longer my very tippy top favorite does not mean that I don't like it anymore. I still like these products that have been dethroned. I really do. It's just that they're not at the top anymore. So for setting sprays, MAC Fix Plus was always a favorite. This, I don't even know what number of bottle this is for me. I'm already down to here. I've used so much. I love this product and I still really like it. It's very hydrating. It feels nice on the face. It's just such a great product, and it is a classic. But what I have learned to love more is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. So I shouldn't say that I've learned to love this one more. This one I just love more. The one thing I always found missing from the MAC was that even though it just gave the skin such a healthy radiance and just made your skin look so healthy and feel so nice, it didn't really do anything to extend the longevity of my makeup, whereas the Urban Decay All Nighter would. This is my perfect middle ground. This hydrates the skin. It gives such a healthy glow to the skin, but it really, really locks in your makeup. Like when you use this, your makeup is going absolutely nowhere. I love this. So this one has also been repurchased with a backup. So we know I absolutely love this one. I will not be without this one. I imagine once I'm done with my MAC and my Urban Decay, and I'm trying to pan my Catrice setting spray right now, this is the only one that's going to be in my collection because it's really all I need. Okay, let's move over to concealers. So concealer was hard because concealer is not something that I tend to have a very top favorite, but in this case, when I look through my collection, the e.l.f. Camo Hydrating Concealer was definitely a favorite. And I've used so much of this. It's really nice on the skin, it's thick, it's hydrating, it's full coverage, it's beautiful. Drugstore option, but beautiful, and I love it for that. But what's really taken over is the One Size Turn Up the Base Butter Silk Concealer. This one I have not stopped raving about since I first started using it. This one is just so full coverage, but it blends out so beautifully. It stays in place all day long. It just hides and covers everything. And the way it blends out and the way it just blends into the rest of the products, I love this. This is amazing for under eyes. It's amazing for spot concealing. It's just perfect for whatever you want it to do. It is it's not super hydrating. It can be a little bit dry, but this paired with my Pat McGrath under eye setting powder, it's not going anywhere. Let's talk about powders. So the one powder I used to really love is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush flawless, and I still like it. But, and clearly I really do still enjoy this, we have a fairly large pan. I love this powder. It does such a great job. It really does help your skin look airbrushed and really does blur out pores. This powder does also give a little bit extra coverage though. So this powder is a little bit heavier for my dry skin. It's not a heavy powder by any means. It is a very finely milled powder, but for my dry skin, it can be a little bit heavier. I have used this on my under eyes, but it's not my favorite for that purpose, but it is a very nice powder. However, I believe back in the fall, discovered the Kosas Cloud Set. I have the shade Airy, which I believe is the lightest one, and this powder, this is a dry skin dream. This product is super finely milled. It is a baked powder, which is what took me a little bit longer to test it out initially because I don't typically like baked products that much. But this changed the game for me. This is such a beautiful lightweight powder. This doesn't add any real coverage. It just really sets everything down, but it doesn't add any weight to the skin. It never makes your makeup look heavy or cakey. It just really kind of takes the tackiness out of everything, which for somebody with dry skin, that's what I need. When I'm using a powder, I'm literally just trying to take the tackiness out of my foundation. I hate that tacky feeling. It does help with wear time and things like that, which is great, but overall, I just want my makeup to not be tacky. So this does that. This does everything I want, and it never does, it never does too much. This is my all-time favorite powder. I will purchase this one over and over and over again. I'm not somebody who, there are certain makeup items in my collection that I have a lot of, like foundations, eyeshadow palettes, but those are the things that really grab me. Blushes, bronzers too, but powders, setting sprays, they're just not things that I go crazy for, and I feel the need to test out all of the new stuff. So for me, to want to already repurchase this is a pretty big deal. Do foundation and then we'll discuss the palettes. If you saw my year-end roundup for 2021, the Catrice True Skin Hydrating Foundation was my favorite foundation of the entire year, and this had actually dethroned my L'Oreal Freshwear, but this just got dethroned recently. I still love this foundation. I'm wearing it today. I love it. It feels so nice on the skin. It's so full coverage. It looks absolutely beautiful. I love the way it makes my skin look. I love the way it feels. And I really do love this foundation. You can't see that I've used much because I actually shook it, but this is a wonderful, wonderful foundation, and it also is drugstore, so you can't go wrong. This year, I believe it was January or February, NARS released the Light Reflecting Foundation. And this is all I want. This is all I want. I've never really gotten into NARS foundations before because they are so expensive, but I had to try this one. This one was released around the same time as the new Charlotte Tilbury foundation, and this is it for me. This is a medium coverage foundation. It doesn't cover everything I want it to, but at the same time, sometimes my skin's behaving and I just don't need it to. I don't need it to do all of the things. This evens out my skin tone. It looks so pretty on, and it gives my skin the most natural, radiant look, and I just love how my skin looks. All day long when I wear this, every time I'm in the bathroom or I look in a mirror, I'm just so pleased with how my skin looks. And as somebody with dry skin, it is hard for me to get my skin to not look dull. So to see that radiance is really, really exciting. And I love everything about this foundation. I hate the price point. I will say that. I do hate the price point, but this is just so good. I can't stop using it. I love it so much. This is the one I want to reach for every day. So this has dethroned my beloved Catrice foundation. Okay, let's talk about palette. I decided to narrow this down to just my favorite Natasha Denona palettes because when I was trying to choose between all of my palettes, I just got really stressed and didn't want to do it. So I decided that it was really important to do my Natasha Denona because I have a lot of Natasha Denona palettes. I talk about them all the time, but there is one that has recently just really creeped into my heart. I did not see it coming, so to say, to take that top spot. So that's what brings us here. So until this point, my very favorite Natasha Denona palette was the Glam palette. So that was hard to choose. I love this one. Retro was also a top contender for a while. But this is the one I always come back to because it's the most user-friendly, everyday palette. It just works with everything, always looks nice, and I really love this palette. This is still definitely in my top favorites of all the palettes that I have. But recently, Natasha Denona released a new palette, and at first I liked it, but I wasn't obsessed with it. I just thought it's really nice, but it's not special. And then next thing I know, it's the one I'm reaching for every day. I always want to reach for this palette, and I have to make myself use others, but it's the Mini Biba. At first I was just it's fine, there's a lot of repeat shades, and that's still true. That's still true. It's still not special, but it is. I don't know what it is. I think it could be these peachy tones that I think are just so flattering, but what I think is it's the shimmer. The shimmer, there's something special about that shimmer shade. I love it. I create the exact same look every single time I wear this palette, but I love it so much. This has become my all-time favorite Natasha Denona palette. I did not expect that, but that's been the case. But that is it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so very much for watching. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload at least 3 new videos every single week. And that's it for me today. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!